Nukes attract not only UFOs, but something bone-chilling, revealed by ex-worker at nuclear depot in Nevada desert. Why have there been so many UFO sightings near nuclear facilities? There has been a rise in the number of reported UFO sightings across many places in the United States since 2020. Moreover, officials have expressed concerns regarding the repeated occurrence of UFO sightings over military bases. Is there any possibility that these UFOs are controlling military actions? Not so long ago, former U.S. Air Force Captain Robert Salas claimed that UFOs are real and interfere with the military's nuclear program. Additionally, former head of AATIP Louis Elizondo revealed that the U.S. military created environments to attract UFOs to study them. He noted that there was much data and showed UFOs are interested in nuclear activities and the latest weaponry systems. The UFO activity over U.S. Army bases has been observed since 1948, with the majority of incidents occurring at Malmstrom, Minot, F.E. Warren, Ellsworth, Vandenberg, and Walker Air Force bases between 1963 and 1996. Other sources stationed at Wurtsmith and Loring Air Force bases, where B-52 nuclear bombers were based during the Cold War era, also reported incidents. In 1967, Captain Salas was stationed at Malmstrom Air Force Base in Montana when he received reports of a red glowing object hovering outside the front gate of the base. A security guard reported that the object had a saucer shape and was constantly hovering near the front gate. At the same time, the missile system suffered a complete failure, with 10 intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs, going offline due to a no-go inoperable condition, which caused several alarms to go off. After investigating the incident, the team of engineers from Boeing could not find any significant failures, engineering data, or findings that would explain how the missiles had been knocked off alert. The cause of the failure remains unknown, but it was suggested that it could have been due to the electromagnetic pulse, the EMP pulse, sent from an unknown source. Despite the severity of the situation, Salas believed that the UFO did not have hostile intentions because it could have caused permanent damage to the weapon system if it wanted to. And Robert Salas tweeted, "Today I began posting on my Facebook page the evidence I presented at AARO February 15, 2023 of the 1967 Malmstrom Air Force Base incidents that resulted in the disabling of Minuteman missiles during UFO encounters and the resulting cover-up." Now, the incident was reported by a UFO researcher, Robert L. Hastings, who collected information from various Army personnel, including Staff Sergeant Louis D. Kenneweg, Airman First Class David Hughes, Staff Sergeant Joseph M. Chassie, and Lieutenant Colonel Robert Peischer, U.S. Air Force retired, in his 30 years of investigation. A similar attraction of UFOs towards nuclear bases was noticed in Canada as well. A report from Winnipeg reveals that over 200 years, there have been 2,000 UFO sightings reported in the Canadian province of Manitoba. So this was from the time of when before Canada was a nation. They've been logging and cataloging UFO sightings in Canada, in the province of Manitoba. Can you imagine? Now, in the mid-1970s, there were numerous UFO sightings all along the U.S.-Canadian border, with Manitoba being one of the places where a large number of sightings occurred. These sightings included a high number of cattle mutilations and were often seen over restricted areas where nuclear activities were conducted. Chris A. Rakowski, a Canadian UFO researcher, has studied UFO sightings in Canada for over 25 years and concluded that Manitoba has a long history of close encounters with aliens. Wow. His UFO research, which contains 30,000 reports, has been donated to the University of Manitoba. In 2017, author Grant Cameron published a book entitled Charlie Red Star, True Reports of One North America's Biggest UFO Sightings, in which he described in detail the largest UFO sighting in history witnessed by Manitobans. The province was stunned by the object known as Charlie's Red Star, which was seen almost every night in 1975. Cameron claims that Manitoba UFO sightings have connections to nuclear weapons because 35 years later, he found out that the government secretly installed nuclear missiles and other weapons in restricted areas just south of the border. He believes that the sightings stopped after the missiles had been removed in November. The author thinks that the nuclear technology that humans possess could be created after extraterrestrial contact. Strange occurrences near nuclear bases. The Reddit user Bumblebee Expensive claims to have worked at a now closed nuclear weapons storage depot in Nevada for 6 years and shared various strange occurrences. He said, "When people say UFOs are attracted to nukes, they're telling the truth. But so much more goes on," the user writes. The user claimed to have seen a ball of light triggering a sensor on the fence line, causing security to respond, and witnessed 3 mutilated donkeys that were dropped off out of nowhere with various organs removed. The user also claims to have witnessed a figure on the roof of a structure, and he writes that it was 30 meters from me and 14 other personnel. I took a spotlight and shined it up there, and as soon as the light hit the figure, it disappeared. We all saw it happen, he said. I heard a man laughing maniacally once, nothing there. Sweep with night vision and thermal reveals nothing. 3 other witnesses. We wrote it off as a laughing colonel, an urban legend passed down by the security personnel for ages, he said. The user and his partner also heard a soft cooing sound coming from a hot pad loaded with 500-pound bombs, seemingly luring them past the pad and into the pitch-black desert, but did not pursue. And during a training exercise, their machine gun Overwatch team spotted 2 figures on thermals in the desert behind them, but their sweep revealed nothing. The user claimed to have experienced the weirdest event when they were responding to a truck approaching on the side of a nearby mountain. They visually confirmed the truck on NVGs, night vision goggles, but suddenly the headlights disappeared, and they believed the occupants had turned them off and were then approaching on foot. They called for K9 and moved to a blocking position where they waited for 10 minutes, but their radios died and were out of contact for twice as long as they thought. We were there for about 10 minutes when one by one patrol members overwatching us from high points on the inside called in. Lights appeared at our 12, 3, and 9 o'clock, in effect flanking us, with fence line about 300 meters behind us. We see and hear nothing, not even on night vision goggles or thermals, and dog never reacts. Suddenly, panicked patrol calls in that the lights are rushing us. We're already locked and loaded. I tell my partner to put a grenade in the tube. Nothing happens. Dog never indicates. Our radios die, and after 10 minutes we hike back to fence line, only to discover we were out of contact for twice as long as I thought we were. Very paraphrased event, 'cause on phone, but our radios only started working when we were back at fence line. The user claimed that those events, combined with the belief that UFOs are attracted to nukes, he says, there's more, but these were the highlights or events I'm allowed to speak about. The world is not as normal as you believe it is. Many other users found the same story in the video published on the Infographics Show YouTube channel in 2020 and began doubting Bumblebee Expensive if he copied the story, but the user later clarified that was his story and added that he is the lead writer of the show. He also claimed to be the writer of the 100-Day Survival series on the channel. There's things I can't talk about as I signed a 30-year non-disclosure contract with pretty stiff penalties, but I'll say this. I know people think there's these big conspiracies with the government hiding knowledge of this or knowledge of that. Truth is, yes, there are big secrets, but overwhelmingly the government is not actively hiding knowledge of this or that. It's literally just ignoring it because it can't do anything about it, or it doesn't pose a threat. It does spend some time and effort investigating it. You can see that there's a greatly increased effort to investigate UAPs now, but the truth is that a long time ago a choice was made about certain things. Do they affect national security, or could we stop it if it did? If the answer is no, we've got bigger or more immediate concerns like the Soviet Union starting a nuclear war, explains Reddit user Bumblebee Expensive. Mr. Louis Elizondo suggested that those interested in more information about this subject read UFOs and Nukes by Robert Hastings. The book describes the reality of UFO incursions at American nuclear weapon facilities. In UFOs and Nukes, there are documented incidents of UFO interference at the U.S. nuclear weapons facilities. The book describes incidents where unidentified objects were seen hovering near nuclear facilities, causing malfunctions in nuclear missiles and communication systems. Some of those incidents date back to as early as January 1945, months before the atomic bombs in Japan, and those events suggest that humans' most dangerous weapons have been under scrutiny by unidentified observers with advanced technology, and the author argues that the UFO nuke connections is significant and may be the reason for the appearance of mysterious aerial crafts in the skies over the past 70 years. Mr. Elizondo recommends this book to those interested in learning more about this subject. And this is on Collective Spark, Vicky Verma's House and Wise. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.